All right, welcome to another episode of Levi in the Closet. Thank you guys for checking out the video. I appreciate it. Before I get into my topic of today's video, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I like to show an item out of my closet. Today, this is the 5th annual Valley Springs Corner Bar Poker Run t-shirt. It's got 5th annual on here. It's got a couple aces, got an ace on my sleeve. And on the back, I barely survived the Corner Bar Lawnmower Poker Run. And that is the truth. That was a rough weekend full of lots of alcohol, lots of drinks. I didn't do any driving. I've learned my lesson, no driving. I had somebody driving me around. But even on a lawnmower, you can get picked up on a lawnmower, and that's considered operating a motor vehicle. So be careful out there. but But yeah, that was a fun weekend. Had a lot of good memories. Met a lot of people. Did a little grappling. Got my butt beat pretty rough. My jaw was hurting. My shoulder was hurting. Maybe a couple little embarrassing incidents here and there. But overall, survived another year of the Lawnmower Poker Run. This was my first time going, and I really enjoyed it. But maybe next time I know kind of like I need to dial it back a little bit and not so much drinking. And so that ties into my topic of today's video. That's 3 more reasons not to drink. I did a previous video. I kind of wanted to, redo it a little bit. I got 3 more reasons. I feel like I could do it a little bit better. And briefly, just to kind of touch on my reasons, if you don't want to go through and watch that whole video, my 3 original reasons to quit drinking is because, for one, it's expensive. You got to spend a bunch of money. You go out on a Friday night, you can spend just on your own maybe like $30. And maybe to some of you that's not a lot, but $30 every weekend, that's quite a bit of money. Every weekend for the month, and that's, let's see, 4 weeks, that's 30, 60, 90, 120, $120 that you'll be spending if you're just buying for yourself, and that's not including the tip, or it's not including, if you're going to buy somebody else's rounds or whatever it is, you're going to treat your friends, it's just expensive. It gets expensive. And the second reason is just for your mental and physical health, because, drinking, especially if you're trying to get in shape, if you're trying to, lose weight, or you're just trying to get gains, whatever it is, you're trying to get big, alcohol kills gains. It's the gain killer. And then also you see people that got like beer muscles and a beer belly, whatever. That's not the healthy way to build muscle by drinking. Maybe it does contribute a little bit because it's all those carbs, which is great. If you're drinking beers, you get a lot of carbs. But that should not be the way that you're building muscle. You should go to the gym. You should be healthy. Drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated, that's the best way to build real muscle, real strong muscle. To stay hydrated and drink actual water. And just mental health, because drinking kind of will put you into this brain fog, or at least for me personally, because I feel like kind of groggy and just overall like trying to recover, and like maybe throughout my week I'm just not feeling 100%, like dealing with that throughout the week. Or there's a lot of other mental, like when all your synapses, or I think that's the right word, synapses, something like that, when they're not all firing because it's dulling all your brain functions down. It's like dumbing you down. And maybe it's not like to a super noticeable level, but that's still happening. Your brain isn't firing on all cylinders, and you want to give yourself the best chance to be happy. You want to be in a good mood, and it's kind of the depressing come down. Like you come down after drinking, and it's like, man, I need, another drink to kind of get me back up to that level. That's, the mentality of it. Or just to sustain that high, or that buzz, sometimes. And also, before I go any further, I'm not saying, 100% quit drinking altogether. Like, just quit drinking, take it all out of your life because it's bad. This is for if you drink to excess. Like, I've had an issue with that, like drinking in excess. It's hard for me just to go have like 1 or 2 drinks. Then I want to have another one. And then I see somebody I know, and then I want to stay, and I want to stay at the bar, and I want to have more drinks and more drinks and more drinks. And then it just keeps adding up, and it's just unhealthy to have that, that alcoholic tendency, I guess you could call it. But anyway, and my third, it was because it's kind of the culture, or the word that I use, it's all part of the, like the stimulation. it's all stimulating the money, and the money is going in. And like, what are you funding your community with? Like, a bunch of alcoholics are paying for the bar to stay open or whatever. Like, I'd rather fund my community and be stimulating the economy of my small town. You know, we live in a small town now. There's only one bar here, and probably not a lot of money coming in, but that's where they get a lot of their money from. Or not the community, but you know, supporting your community, supporting people trying to build up a business and trying to maintain a business. Like, I want to support the people here, and I know people that work at the bar. Like, I want to be able to tip the bartenders because I know them. I want them to be able to have, you know, like a good sustainable income. But I'd rather not be just throwing money into this alcoholic like stimulation. Simulation is also, it's the stimulating, you know, stimulating the economy, but I'd rather be doing it in a positive way, like ways that don't involve drinking. But anyway, so those were my original reasons. Thank you for sticking with me here. Getting into my 3 more reasons, and also stick around and watch the whole video because I'll be giving you a 4th reason, and that's the bonus one. So anyway, my first reason, so it's 6th reason, my first reason, first more reason. Anyway, it's kind of going off of the mental health and like just being healthy, but it creates this dependency, like a chemical dependency in your brain that, you know, it's almost like when you smoke a cigarette. It's more the action of doing it, I think, than the actual nicotine. Or it is an addictive substance, but I think in itself it's an addictive action, like lighting the cigarette and smoking it and like holding it to your lips. It's the same thing with alcohol, like having a cup, holding the cup, taking a sip from your cup. It's like, that's like the action. Like, I want to sit down, I'm gonna, you know, watch TV or whatever, and you sit there and you sip a beverage. You're doing that action of, you know, that repeated action creates that dependency. So when you're not doing that, I feel like it'll feel like something's missing, something's not right here. Like, I can't watch TV without having a drink, or like I can't eat my supper without having a beer, or something like that. Like, I've done that in the past. Like, every supper time I would have a beer to go with my meal, and then after that it's like, okay, well, like, I guess I'll just drink water now, you know, like, whatever. But it creates that dependency on it, that need to like keep doing it, and the repetitive action, and it builds in your mind and it becomes a habit. And also, it kind of creates this false feeling, like, what is the reason that you drink for? You know, is it just because, oh, it's been a long day, I'm just trying to cool down, like I need something to kind of take the edge off, which is fine in itself. But if that becomes your everyday habit, it's like, well, again, it's not healthy for you to be consuming alcohol every single day. The way that it affects your mentality and it affects your physicality, all these things, it's, you know, gonna wear away at you. So I just explore you to ask yourself, like, what is the reason that I drink? Like, for me, I don't really try to drink at home very much. Like, I will occasionally, but I prefer to go out to the bar. And like, why is that? Well, you know, I want to be social, I like going out. But then why am I drinking? You know, why do I feel like I have to have a drink, or why do I feel like I have to have a beer? And, you know, a lot of that originally, before I, you know, went through some stuff and working on myself, it was just because I was trying to cope just to get along. And then I realized all these things. It's like, well, I'm trying to, you know, kind of numb the pain. Like, I was going through some heartache and just trying to numb the pain, or trying to, you know, escape this. You know, I felt like I was in a prison, like a prison in my mind, a prison in my job, all these things. And I just felt so trapped. And it's like the escapism of it all, having a drink and feeling like, you know, I'm just getting away from it, just enough to cope with life and everything like that, which is not healthy. You should find other ways, or realize, like, what is the reason? Like, are you in an unhappy relationship? Are you in a job that you don't like? You know, are you unsatisfied with your life? And look into those things, and what changes can you make? You know, like gradual changes that'll help you get through that. You know, what is it that you're unhappy with or trying to maybe cope with? And this isn't for everybody. This is a lot of, you know, just from my personal experience, but I felt like I was trying to cope a lot, and for multiple reasons. And that led me to the alcohol, it led me to the drink, because I was just trying to fill up this void. And really, that's like, it's up to you. You create that happiness. You create that perspective of the world, not like, oh, everything sucks and I need to just have a drink just to end my day, just to, take the edge off. It's like, no, like I can go home and relax and I'll be fine and I don't need anything else. Dang flies. And yeah, so I feel like that's, kind of like two reasons in one, but, just to do a little exercise, look into what is the reason that you're drinking. Like, what is the reason aside from, oh, it just feels good, I like the feeling. It's like, okay, well, maybe I am unhappy, or maybe I feel like it's just the monotony of life. Like, I need to go out, I need to drink, or, I feel like, then I'm more talkative, I'm able to go and flirt, or I feel more flirty when I drink, or whatever it is. Like, the show Big Bang Theory, and there's that one character and he just can't talk to women, and then he realizes after he gets drunk, then he's like flirting it up and he's like a lady killer and everything. And I felt that way sometimes. I feel more outgoing, I feel like I can talk to people just because I'm just like more relaxed. I'm like, okay, like now I can just kind of let it flow. But I want to be able to do that even when I'm not drinking. And that's the thing, like I didn't watch that show enough to know if he ever like overcame that or not. But they're all supposed to be smart, educated people. Well, then get to the root of the problem, like figure out why is it that I can't talk to women and then I can when I'm drinking, like what do I have to do? Like, what do I have to work on in myself so that I can talk to women without drinking? You know what I mean? Like, that's just something I think through time and practice that you can develop. So if you feel like, oh, I can't talk to women unless I had a drink, well then, just try, just slowly just talking to women outside of the bar or when you are having drinks or something like that. You know what I mean? Enough talking about topic or about reason number one. Let's move on to reason number two. And all right, so this one is a little bit personal for me, and I'm not going to go into great depth about like my story. I'm just going to, give you guys the reasons behind this. Is the alcohol can leave you vulnerable, and maybe it just depends on who you're drinking with, or like if you have a safe environment to drink in, or like drink at home, that's probably better. But it will leave you vulnerable, like emotionally vulnerable and physically vulnerable. You can be taking advantage of people that don't have your best interest in heart. And maybe that seems more like a female thing, but I can tell you that it happens for men as well. It's happened to me. I've been taken advantage of when I've been, inebriated and like barely even able to like understand what's going on. And, I think that's terrible, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life. And it sucks, but it was really my own fault. I think that I let it get to that point because I wasn't conscious of like, who am I drinking with? Like, am I around people that I know I'm safe with? And some people don't have that, maybe that thought in their mind, like, oh, I need to be around people I'm safe with, or it's like, oh, I'm at a party, like, I'm just going to have some drinks. And, I'm always concerned for females in this situation too, because that seems like that's more commonly known, is that a guy will try to get a girl drunk just so that he can sleep with her, or try to take advantage of her in some way, get her drunk, or like give her some kind of drugs or anything like that. And it's messed up that it is that way, but maybe that's how some guys feel. That's the only way they can get a girl to drink with them. I've kind of felt that way, like, oh, there always needs to be alcohol, or let's just have some drinks and then we can hang out and then see where it goes, something like that. Not with any kind of malicious intent behind it, but I realized that I was doing that. Like, anytime that, I'd have a date over to my house, I'd have alcohol, or I'd have something like that, just to kind of like maybe lighten the mood. And I never wanted it to, seem like I was trying to get them drunk. I'd let them know, like, I'm not going to pressure you or whatever. This is just for us to relax and have a good time. But also, I can see how it would go the opposite way. There are not gentlemen out there, like, they're not going to be so chivalrous, and they're not going to be like caring that much. They want their one thing out of a woman, and they'll do whatever they got to do to get it. And a lot of times that involves alcohol or some other kind of chemical substance, I guess you could say. So, that's just another reason. It's because you never know what somebody has going on in their mind, unless they're like a good friend of yours. Again, if you're in a safe place with people and people that want you to be safe, You just don't know. And so why take that chance? And why allow yourself to be that vulnerable? Like, there is that chance when you're not drinking, but the probability increases even more so when you're drunk. And like, if you don't have full comprehension of what's going on, and you're very impressionable, and people will just be like, oh, come over here, like, oh, I'll get you home, whatever, like doing something like that. Hopping in a car with a stranger. Somebody's like, oh yeah, I just met this person at the bar and they're really chummy with me and they say they can give me a ride home. Well, how do you know you're going to make it home? Like, yeah, that's smart not driving, but you never know because you're vulnerable. And yes, that not just women that happens to and things like that, but I'm not going to talk about it too much. Moving on to my third topic. See how I segued that there? Actually, before I get into my third reason why you should quit drinking in excess, I'm going to say you should follow Levi Acid on Instagram, because there you can keep in contact with me to see what I'm doing in my normal life. You can message me on Instagram any questions or topics that you want to see in my next video. And, I'm not going to judge or anything. Like, I'm always open to trying to help people, trying to help you better your life and become the best version of yourself that you can be. Also, like this video and give it a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. I like seeing the interaction just to know, how many people I'm reaching. I like to see that. Or you can leave a comment. Just comment your thoughts on alcohol. Have you struggled with alcohol in the past? Do you know somebody that's kind of going through something like this and you want to see them, get a better life? Like, what are your thoughts on alcohol? And, maybe you share the same perspective that I do, trying to just better yourself through natural means instead of, just trying to cope with life. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one. I'm really just trying to help people become the best version of themselves. So anyway, with that brief intermission, getting into my third reason why you should quit drinking alcohol. And this is a big one for me, because like, I'll go out on a Friday night, tear it up, shut the bar down. It'll be 2 o'clock, and then maybe we go over to somebody else's house. Maybe they got drinks. We go over to somebody's house. Now it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I get home, it's like 4:30 in the morning. And then the next day, it's like, oh, I'm just so beat. Like, I'm sleeping all day, not really doing anything productive. Like, maybe I do some stuff, but like, I got a whole house I got to clean, or I got laundry I got to do, or food I got to make, or anything. Just doing anything is hard to do when you have a hangover. And especially if you're puking all day and killing all the gains, like, you puking all, like, you can't eat, you can't get what you need, you can't get all your protein, can't get all your carbs and calories. And that's how I feel. It's like I just wasted a day just trying to recover, or maybe multiple days. Sometimes it's been that bad. It takes a couple days for me to recover from one night of drinking. And I just realized how much of a waste of time that is. My least productive, like, if I had something planned and I was, gonna go do something, I usually just don't go out to drink the night before, because I know it'll get to that point that it's like, okay, I'm not doing anything today. If I made plans or I have something I need to get done, I just will not go out and drink, because that's how it is. Like, I'll go out and I could say like, oh, I'm gonna have 1 or 2 drinks, and then it ends up cascading into like, 4, 5, 6 drinks and maybe a couple shots and who knows what. So yeah, just not being the most productive. I don't know if everybody feels that way. I know some people, they can, go out, get hammered, and then be at work the next day and, just act like nothing happened, and then just keep on doing it over and over again. And I'm not one of those people. If I go out to drink, I go hard, and then I'm beat the next day. Like, there's no way. And I've done it in the past. I've been out until, 3, 4 in the morning, and then gone to work at 7. And it's been awful, and I do not like that. I do not recommend it at all. If you see yourself falling into that kind of pattern, maybe think about, dialing it back a little bit. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just trying to give you some, another perspective, because there is a better life outside of that. Like, if you feel like, that's the only way that you can deal with life, or you're just getting drunk and then going to work. Like, I don't drink during a weekday because I know I won't be productive the next day. And I've never called out because I've had a hangover, but I have had some pretty rough days Just dealing with the repercussions of my actions from the night before. So anyway, that was my 3 topics. Thank you guys if you made it this far in the video. Thank you for following along. And for those of you that did make it to the end of this video, here's my bonus point. It's not, as serious as some of the others, but I feel like it's still definitely relevant and worth mentioning that okay. So when I think of like a man, what I picture a man to be, I think of maybe like Idris Elba, if any of you know who he is. And like I think he was in The Office. That's like the most recent time I've seen him. But like he's in The Office and all the ladies are like, oh man, he's such a man. And he's wearing the suit and he's all mature versus, the other boss. And he's like all immature and goofy and making jokes and stuff. But this guy, he's like, no, I'm the boss. And you like quit joking like that. Like being serious, I picture him to be like the ideal, like he's pretty like my idea of an alpha male, right? And when I think of that, I can't see Idris Elba going to the bar and getting like super messed up. Maybe once or twice in, like a long time, but like definitely not every weekend, not going out and getting like belligerent, ignorant drunk. I can see him just sitting there, like having a regular drink, like a bourbon or something, and maybe like he's just like, all right, this is just kind of at the end of the day, like I'm just gonna have this bourbon, whatever, and that's it. Like I can't see a mature adult male, consuming a ton of alcohol and going out and getting rowdy like what I've been doing in the past. And I want to be seen as a mature person. I don't want to be, just another I don't know, just another drunkard at the bar, I guess. Like, no shade thrown at any of the people I know that go to the bar. But I know, like, I haven't made my wisest decisions. I've done things that are completely immature, like riding on the top of somebody's car and making a dent in it. Or, I don't know, trying to do a backflip off a swing when I'm drunk and messing up my arm and all kinds of stuff. Like, things that's like, okay, yeah, this is fun and it's been fun. But then there's also, it's like, okay, I need to start thinking about, I'm an adult. I want to be seen as an adult. I don't want to be seen as, like stumbling around at the bar all drunk, like thinking I'm funny or whatever it is. Like I'm more mature than that. I feel like drinking in excess is kind of an immature thing to do. And maybe it's okay every once in a while, you just kind of cut loose and it's like, all right, we're just having a good time, but not regularly and not enough that I feel like it gives people a perspective of who you are. And I always, I want to make a good impression on people. I want them to see me as mature and that I, have control, like I have self-control and things like that. It's all tying into your maturity level. And if I'm going to go out and party every weekend, that's really like a young man thing to do, like I'm getting older and, I think it's just time, just for me personally, that's another reason why I want to quit drinking. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but to quit drinking because I feel like that's the mature thing to do is to be able to just, okay, if I can control it and just go and maybe just like have 1 or 2 drinks, 1 or 2 beers and then call it good and just be like, all right, I'm going home. Like I came here, I saw the people and it was a good time. All right. But not that you have to stay up late every night, get super drunk and just feel awful the next day. So yes, those are my reasons. Thank you guys for checking out the video. I appreciate it if you made it to the end. Thank you so much. And remember that, I just want the best for you guys. And remember that you're worth it. You're worth putting in the effort. And if you want the best life for yourself, there's certain things that you got to do. There's sacrifices that you have to make in order to reach that next level. And you will be more happy. You'll be more happy with the life that you have. You'll feel better. And so that'll contribute to your happiness as well. You feel better physically and mentally. And you're proud of the progress that you made. And you're acting like a mature adult, which is what I think a lot of people kind of lack these days is the actual maturity and understanding. But I digress. Thank you guys for checking out the video. As always, love yourself before anybody else, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.